Welcome to the Nameless.
The parents said they would be home by midnight. I remember that part clearly because I checked my phone again when the clock on the microwave flipped to 3 a.m. and their location still showed the same Italian restaurant downtown. They had not moved in over 4 hours. I stood alone in their kitchen, listening to the house settle around me, realizing something had gone very wrong, and that I was still responsible for 2 sleeping kids who had no idea how late it was. I was 19 at the time, home from college for winter break, trying to make easy money. Babysitting was familiar, low effort, and usually boring. The Hendersons lived in one of those newer developments where every house looked like it had been copied and pasted. Beige siding, white trim, motion lights in the driveway. Safe enough that parents felt comfortable staying out late. They had 2 kids. Emma was 6 and Noah was 4. Both were already asleep when I arrived at 8.
The parents told me they were meeting friends for dinner and drinks, midnight at the latest. They even laughed about it, saying they were old and would never last past dessert. They showed me where the snacks were, left cash on the counter, and reminded me that the alarm system was already set to night mode, doors and windows locked. I had babysat for them twice before. Nothing ever happened. The house was quiet, warm, and smelled faintly like laundry detergent. By 10, I was on the couch watching Netflix with the volume low. By 11:30, I was fighting sleep. I sent a quick text asking how it was going. No reply, which was not unusual. Midnight came and went. I figured they were finishing a drink. At 1, I checked their location for the first time. Still at the restaurant. I felt a small prickle of annoyance, but nothing else. Parents are late sometimes. It happens. At 2, the prickle turned into unease.
The house felt too quiet, like the kind of quiet you only notice when you are the only person awake. I muted the TV and just listened. The faint hum of the fridge, the tick of the wall clock in the hallway, the air vents clicking as the heat cycled on and off. At 3, I realized they were not just late. They were not leaving at all. I tried calling, straight to voicemail. I texted again, nothing. I checked the kids through the cracked bedroom doors. Both were still asleep, breathing slow and steady. Their nightlights cast soft shapes on the walls. I closed the doors carefully, trying not to make noise, even though I did not know why I was suddenly worried about that. I went back to the living room and sat on the edge of the couch instead of lying down. That was when I noticed the back door light was on. It faced the backyard, which was fenced and empty except for a small playset and a shed. The light was motion activated. It was not on when I arrived.
I remembered because I had commented on how bright it was earlier, joking that it could light a football field. I told myself a raccoon could have triggered it, or a stray cat. The Hendersons lived near a wooded area. Animals were common. Still, I stood up and walked slowly to the sliding glass door. I did not open the blinds all the way. I just peeked through a narrow gap. The yard was empty. The light clicked off a few seconds later. I exhaled and felt stupid for holding my breath. I checked my phone again. 3:12 a.m. The parents were still at the restaurant. That was when I heard a sound upstairs. It was faint, not a bang or a crash, more like something being dragged softly across carpet. I froze at the bottom of the stairs. The sound stopped. The house went still again. I waited. 30 seconds, a minute, nothing else happened. I almost convinced myself it came from the vents or the heating system. Houses make noises at night. I knew that. But I also knew the kids' rooms were upstairs, and neither of them sleepwalked. I took 1 step up the stairs, then another. Each step creaked slightly, louder than I expected. I hated that the sound announced exactly where I was. Halfway up, I heard it again. This time, it sounded closer, like it was just beyond the hallway corner. I whispered the kids' names. No response.
and reached the top of the stairs and looked down the hallway. Both bedroom doors were still closed. The bathroom door at the end of the hall was open, light off. Nothing looked out of place. I walked to Emma's room first. She was asleep, curled on her side. Noah, too. I checked under the beds without really thinking about why. Nothing. As I turned back into the hallway, I noticed something small and wrong. The attic pull-down ladder was slightly open, not fully extended, just enough that the panel hung crooked instead of flush with the ceiling.
I stared at it, trying to remember if it had been like that before. I could not. The parents had never mentioned the attic. I had no reason to go up there. A thin line of colder air brushed my face. I stood there longer than I should have. Then I reached up and pushed the panel closed. It clicked back into place easily, like it had not been secured properly to begin with. I went back downstairs, heart beating faster now. I locked the sliding glass door again, even though it already was. I checked every door and window, all locked. I sat back on the couch, lights on now, TV muted. I texted the parents again, this time asking if everything was okay. At 3:27 a.m., my phone rang. It was the mom. I answered immediately, relief washing over me so hard it made my eyes sting. Her voice sounded strange, not panicked, just distant, like she was tired or distracted. She said they were still at the restaurant, that they ran into old friends.
She apologized and said they would leave soon. I told her about the noise upstairs. I laughed a little while saying it, trying to make it sound less serious. There was a pause on the line. Then she asked me if the kids were asleep. I said yes. Another pause. She told me not to go upstairs again unless one of them cried. She said the house makes noises at night. Old wiring, old beams. She said I was safe. The call ended before I could respond. That should have reassured me. Instead, it made the room feel heavier, like the air had thickened. I checked the call duration. 30 seconds. I tried calling back. No answer. That was when I noticed the hallway light was off. I knew I had left it on. I stood up slowly, every muscle tight. I walked toward the stairs and stopped at the first step. Something was breathing up there. Not loud, not labored, just a steady inhale and exhale, like someone trying very hard to stay quiet.
I did not go up the stairs. I backed away and grabbed my coat and keys from the hook by the door. I considered waking the kids and leaving, but the thought of carrying them down the stairs, past whatever was upstairs, made my stomach drop. I locked myself in the bathroom instead. It was small, no windows. I sat on the floor with my back against the door and called 911. The dispatcher answered. I whispered. I told her I was babysitting and I thought someone was in the house. She asked for the address. I gave it. She asked me if I could leave safely. I said I did not know. While we were talking, I heard footsteps above me. Slow, deliberate, crossing the hallway. The dispatcher told me officers were on the way. The footsteps stopped at the top of the stairs. Then they started coming down. Each step creaked, louder than when I had climbed them earlier. Whoever it was did not care about being quiet anymore. I held my breath and pressed the phone to my ear, tears sliding down my face without any sound. The steps reached the bottom. I heard the living room floorboard groan. Then nothing. No doors opening, no searching, just silence. Minutes passed. My legs went numb. I thought maybe I imagined it. Maybe it left. Then the bathroom door handle turned. Slowly, not rattling, not forced, just testing.
I bit down on my sleeve to keep from making noise. The handle stopped. I heard breathing on the other side of the door, close, curious. Then a voice spoke. It sounded like the mom. She said my name. She said the kids were awake and scared. She said I needed to come out. I knew it was not her. I had spoken to her less than 10 minutes earlier. She was downtown. I also knew she had a slight rasp when she spoke. This voice did not. The dispatcher heard it too. Her tone changed immediately. She told me not to open the door. The voice tried again.
Softer this time, more convincing. It said the parents were home now. I stayed silent. After a long moment, the breathing moved away. Footsteps crossed the living room. I heard the sliding glass door open. Then the motion light clicked on. Red and blue lights flashed through the bathroom window minutes later. The police escorted me out. They searched the house, the attic. They found signs someone had been up there. An old blanket, food wrappers. The attic window, small and hidden under the eaves, was unlocked. They never found who it was. The parents came home at nearly 5 in the morning. They swore they never left the restaurant. Their location history backed it up. I never babysat again. Sometimes, late at night, my phone will ring from an unknown number. I never answer, but the voicemail is always empty.